Hey parents and athletes, Michelle here from Prospect Buzz. I wanted to talk today about communicating to college coaches. We're coming at the end, probably about another week here. I think July 28th is the last day for the end of the dead period. So, you guys should have been communicating over this dead period. And once this 28th, what's going to happen is in August, you can't come on campus and, according to the new NCAA rules. However, you can still communicate with the coaches. And the best way to do it, Twitter, okay? Coaches are on Twitter like crazy. There is, back in history, thank God we evolved. But in history, traditionally how you would, get your information to a coach is you would send a DVD in, VCR tape for those of us that are really been doing this for a long time. That you go in and you mail it in and pray to God somebody contacts you back. But now in the world of social media, everything is instant, right? That's the millennial instant gratification right now. But anyway, it's the way of the world. I use social media like crazy. And specifically with this son, with my last son that went just recently went off to college, communicated to coaches via Twitter. And he had his own Twitter account, so it's important. And so this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to share my screen, and I'm going to show you his account and what you need to be doing to make sure that, here we go. Make sure you have it set up. Now, unfortunately, he's changed his up a little bit because before he had it. Matter of fact, let me just pull up somebody that actually has it, because for those high school kids that are looking to, I think this kid has his. I told him to switch his up. We're going to see. Hopefully, he does. For high school kids, you really need to have. You don't have to have it, but it's good to have it. It's a good marketing way, and have a little bit of preempt so the coaches, it's basically they're reading a bio. They're finding out about you on your Twitter account. So this kid right here, it says the official recruiting Twitter page of class of 2019, his name, athlete, his height, weight, his 40 time, what his high school is, and he's pointing down to his huddle right here. You definitely want to have your huddle link incorporated in it. And then this is all normally standard stuff. But, you don't have to have it formatted this way, but it's good to have it all filled out here adequately. Another thing that I want to highlight is right here. Take a look. He has his name. And then, I know the kids want to get creative and they want to have all these, whatever, these little call signs that relate to them, which is fine. This is their personal Twitter page. These coaches want to see their personalities, what they are every day. You don't want to doctor it up, too much. However, when media analysts and coaches are searching, the first thing they're going to do, especially if they find out about a kid through whatever, through the media, whatever it is, the first name and last name. Always have their first name. Have your kids have their first and last name in there. And then the Twitter handle, it can be anything as long as it's appropriate. Obviously, I know as parents, we want to make sure that, we don't have anything, absurd or foul language or whatever it is, just keep it simple and let them spread their wings. But, on the same note, the biggest thing is when people search, they got it. And if you notice, when I typed in his stuff, Christian Watson, it came up immediately. It was the top one. So just make sure that that's in there. Another, thing real quick, and since we're talking about social media profile, this really was about communicating to coaches, but I just wanted to make sure, obviously, I monitored my son's stuff all the way up until he was about 11th grade. After that, I knew that he had the hang of it and that he understood clearly what he needed to do in order to stay on Twitter, and because he knew that there was going to be coaches watching him, right? All right, so the importance of Twitter All right, let me just stop sharing my screen. The importance of Twitter and communicating with coaches. You know, in today's world, we have to stay on top of mind. You got to stay at top of mind. There's so many talented athletes out there. Okay, you've got to make sure that you stay top of mind. Now, just because you communicate with the coaches, does it mean you're going to get a scholarship offer? No. Does it mean that they're going to bump you up in the board, you know, their depth chart as far as interest? No, that doesn't. Obviously, the primary thing is talent. That's what they're evaluating: is your talent, your character, what your high school coaches are saying about you, and you know, maybe you perform at a camp, whatever it is. But you'll never know how somebody feels about you unless you communicate. Okay, you have to. If you've got a coach constantly communicating with you, then that means he is probably very interested in you, and you're at the top of his depth, his recruiting board. So just make sure. And I tell the kids that I talk to, and the parents that I talk to, and that I help, I tell all the time: go make sure you at least reach out to the coach once a week, just to check in, stay up top of mind of him. It's simple things like, hey coach, just seeing how practice is going. Hey coach, you know, how was your weekend or whatever. I mean, it's a great learning tool for these kids to learn how to be able to communicate. I prefer face-to-face communication. That's my thing. And I try to teach my son to do that. But, you know, we're in that age right now. And as many kids as these coaches talk to, that's how they prefer it, you know, to be able to communicate via text, or if they can at the moment, because a lot of times depends on what grade level they're in or where they're at, whether or not they can communicate with them and what time period, quiet period, dead period. But, you know, I go more in detail about that in my my training modules, and talk in detail about when you can and can't talk, how, you know, I have a whole public speaking, and, you know, I go into more detail about communicating with coaches on a level that, you know, they want you to be real. They want you to be real, but there's things that you can do, things that you can say, things that you can continue to try to stay top of mind, especially if it's a school that you're really, really interested in. So, you know, there are guidelines about with the NCAA when you can and cannot talk with these coaches. And so that's why they won't come back and, you know, communicate to you. So don't take it as if they are not, you know, going to, they're not interested in you. Typically, you know, most of the time coaches can't respond back to you via text. If you happen to catch them, what I tell my players that I work with, the athletes I work with, is text the coach, let him know, hey coach, I'm getting ready to call you, or hey coach, this is such and such, you know, I'm getting ready to call you in just a few minutes. And then that way, at least he knows when the call comes in, you know, if possibly maybe he doesn't have your phone number saved yet or whatever, you know, call him up and then call him immediately. And then if he doesn't pick up, then wait, do it again. Try 2 or 3 hours later. You know, he could be in a meeting. 2 or 3 hours later, coach, text him first. I'm getting ready to call you. Call. And, you know, a lot of times it'll happen. He'll pick up the phone. So, and once you start learning their schedules too, because a lot of times, you know, I've noticed the coaches will communicate a lot during the evening times. But, you know, again, it just depends on how far you are up in their board, you know, or how interested they truly are. And you'll know, trust me. All right. So thanks, guys. That was a quick overview about communicating with coaches. And if you have any questions, feel free to leave in the comments below. And you guys have a great day and start getting ready for the end of this dead period, July 28th. All right. Take care, guys. Bye.